Okay, so this is a video about normals in 3D modeling. Now, one of the best sort of resources that you could probably have a look at is this website here, Scratch-a-Pixel 2. You can find it here, scratchapixel.com. If you scroll down, have a look at the Volume 1, Foundations of 3D Rendering, you can see this item here, Introduction to Shading. This is definitely worth a read. Introduction to Shading, it goes through lots of really valuable information, but particularly when I have a look at here, normals, vertex normals and facing ratio. So this is the detail, and it will illuminate some of the stuff that I'm talking about. So if you want to have a read, like here, face normals, vertex normals, if you want to have a read, I suggest you go and have a look at it here. But I'm going to just demonstrate this for you, and we can sort of investigate it, what's going on in Max. So let me just draw create a plane. Like so. I'm going to turn off the grid, pressing G, and press F4 so I can see the geometry. Press W so that I can move my plane around. Now I'm going to go to the modifier stack, add an edit poly modifier on, select an edge, and I'm going to double click to select all of that. I'm going to bring that up here. I'm going to bring that there. Let's bring that up there. I'll bring that down, so I'm double clicking on all of these and just bring that up a bit. So I've got this surface here. I'm also going to double click there so I can move that up. Double click there, so I move that up. So we've got a bit of a curved surface there, and then I'm going to double click and move that one down, but I'll keep that one up. So we've got this sort of geometry here. Now, if I have a look, press F4, get rid of the edged faces here, so the viewing of the edges. You can see in this shape we've got like a smooth shading all the way across. Yeah, there are no hard lines. If I press F4, we can see the geometry. Yeah, we can see the polygons that make up this shape. But if I press F4, we can see, look, we've got nothing. Okay, it just seems to be smooth surface all the way. Now, sometimes you might want a smooth surface, and sometimes you might not want a smooth surface. You could be doing a hard surface model, a vehicle or something, and you want this to be quite edged, quite straight. Now, the polygons, if you look at them themselves, F4, if we have a look at a polygon here, that is actually flat. Yeah, and we can see here that they're just made up of flat planes. So across in all directions, they're flat. Now, we've got two options to be able to control the smoothing. One is playing around with the normals. We'll explain what that is in a minute. Or the other one is looking at smoothing groups to control the way that polygons smooth between each other. So let's have a look at smoothing groups first. So we're going to select the object, press F4. Now we can see all of our geometry, and we can see that it's smooth. If we take this bit here, it's all smooth all the way across. So I'm going to select the polygons. I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And down in the modifier stack with polygon selected, I've got polygon smoothing groups. Now at the moment, everything, you see that's blue, everything is blue. So I'm just going to, actually, let's do that for them. Let's just clear all of the smoothing groups. Clear, so we've got nothing. So I take that off now, no smoothing groups. We've got no smoothing between any of these polygons. And now look, if you look at the shading, we can see we've got hard edges between everything. So that's with no smoothing groups whatsoever. Hard edges between all of these polygons. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I select that, and that, and then put that all in smoothing group 1, yeah, that surface now all becomes smooth. Yeah, but we've still got a hard line between here and here. If I do 1, 2, 3, 4 and put those in 2, yeah, they become smooth, but we've still got this line here. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, I select those and put those in 3. and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and put those in 4. Now I should have 4 rows like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're all in different groups, but I've still got this hard line between them. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I could get rid of that by, let's say we'll select all of those and those. Yeah, put that, clear that, put them in 32. Now they're in 32. If we look, 32. Yeah, these are all in different ones. If I select all of these now and put them in, clear them from that, clear all, put them in 31. Now we've got 2 areas. Smooth area up here, smooth area there. Or we could just clear all from all of them. Clear all, put them all in 1, and we're back to where we started with everything all in one smoothing group and smooth shading across all of these polygons. Okay, so that's one way of looking at things. We can play around with smoothing groups. Now I'm going to copy that object there, make it a copy, and let's take that and just move that out of the way. Okay, so let's have a look at the other way. I'm going to delete edit poly. No, I won't. I'm going to clear all the smoothing groups. So clear all, no smoothing groups. We've got just our planes, no smoothing, no individual shading or anything like that. Now let's see what we can do. I'm going to add it on top of this one an edit normals modifier. Now, what is a normal? We've got a vertex normal here. So if I click on that, if we look, we've got 4 different axes, 4 different lines coming out of this single point. We press F4. Yeah, so I've selected it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Each polygon, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that this normal is connected to has a direction. Yeah, the way that it faces, which is going to handle the shading. So I can select all 4 of those. You can see all 4 of those little lines go red, and then I'm going to unify them and then make them point in the same direction. Unify. If I see that now it begins to smooth across all of those things. I've only got one line coming out. Yeah. You can do the same there. Select all of those. They go red, and I'm going to unify them. It'll bring them together. They'll average and go into the middle, and then it's smooth. So I can control the smoothing on a sort of a per vertex level. Let's say unify those. Yeah, done. Unify those. Yep. So now I'm just smoothing out these bits. Here, because this vertex is only connected to 2 polygons, we've got 2 lines. Select them and unify, brings them together. Select those ones, unify, brings them together. And I've just got the 1 coming out. They're in the same place. So that's another way that we can get rid of unwanted shading. Unify and unify. Okay, so if we look, we've without using smoothing groups, we've managed to smooth by playing around with the normals of that object. If we select it again, and if I was to edit poly on top of that, and then start to play around with the smoothing groups, let's see what happens. Clear all, and then 1. And if we select, clear all. Okay, so smoothing groups are overridden by the normals. Yeah, so we've got, if we take that, and that, and put them in different smoothing groups. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we get no change. Yep, so normals will override smoothing groups. So they're 2 different approaches. Let's have a look at this. We can delete that. We can delete that. Right, let's have a look at another object. If I just reset my viewport, let's create a box. We'll do that. I'll set it to 50, 50, 50. So I've got a cube. I'll put it right in the center of the world, like so. Now I'm going to apply an open subdiv and put a couple of iterations on. If I take off iSign display, press F4. There we go. So we've got a nice sphere with nice quad geometry. I'm going to collapse that so it's an editable poly. Select the polygons, and then Control A to select all polygons. I'm going to clear all. Take off F4. All right, so now we can see our flat surfaces with no shading, no smoothing. If we select them all the polygons, and auto smooth 45 degrees, yeah, we've got our nice smooth surface. So, I mean, smoothing groups are generally the first thing you want to try if you're having strange shading or undesirable effects. And then the next thing is to think about the normals if you're still having things that you're not happy with. So normals are really important, and we're talking about vertex normals. But the other type of way that we can use normals is if I create a box. I'll do the same as before. 50, 50. You know, we can apply or play with the normal texture maps. Okay, normal texture maps work in the same way. You know, they will outline to you how light is going to come down and bounce off an object, but it's not going to control. It's not just limited to the corners or the surface. It will apply across the whole of a face. So for me to just demonstrate that, if we have a look at this one here, I've got an image. If I just open it up, it's like this. Okay, and the colours on this map, R, G, and B, represent axes, X, Y, and Z. So they'll determine where and which direction the light is going to bounce. So we need to apply that as a texture map to this face. And it's not going to actually just appear like an image on the side. It'll actually, because it will still be, if we put that colour in here, if we make it green. Okay, so the box will stay green, but it will show the shading that's going to appear on it. Because if we put this image like so, yeah, onto that face, yeah, it will show which bit where the light is going to bounce. So we want to map this image to that face there. Okay, so we can do that by creating a material. I've got one here I've done. I'll just show you how I did that. PBR material, drag it in from PBR material. We want the normal map. Just going to open that up. General, choose a bitmap because we're going to apply an image to it. Going to navigate to this sphere normal here, and that will be connected. And then this node here, I'm going to drag off and drop it onto my object. Okay, and there we go. So we can see the normal map taking effect here. Now, if you can't see the normal map effect, you need to make sure that you're looking at materials, and then you've got realistic materials with maps on. That's without maps, and realistic materials with maps. And as you can see that, look, the light is beginning to bounce and move depending upon, the object. Now, this is just a completely flat surface. There is no change in the geometry. It's just the shading. It's just the normal map telling Max which way the light is going to bounce. Now that's quite powerful, and we can use it a lot. There's lots of shortcuts we can do. We don't have to model detail directly. We can just we can use maps to describe detail, to put micro detail into the surface. An example of that could be if I change the bitmap that I'm using. If we take that, rather than the normal sphere, we can take these bricks. Look, we've got bricks here. Now, again, this is just the straight normal grey colour, which is coming from my material here. Grey, so let's change that to something different, see what happens. Yeah, so if I change it to green, yeah, so this is the colour. But yeah, so I can take that. Now it's never going to look, perfect. Certainly not close up. It's not going to look completely real. But at a distance, it's going to give you that sort of effect. And when you can view the box and the normals in your viewport, it is somewhat easier to then start to maybe do edit poly and then swift loop, and then actually start to try to take some of these, like that one, and maybe that one, and there, and then take these polygons and then just extrude them slightly, and we can give a slightly different effect. Okay, so it looks like it's a little bit not so perfect, so it's just slightly enhancing. We could take that edge and then maybe bring it in a little bit. Yeah, and then we could do another one maybe. Here, we're going to do this very roughly. Yeah, and then take that polygon there. Let's do it down the bottom. Yeah, like so. Okay, so then we're slowly beginning to add some detail. You can see that there, some additional detail onto the surface. Actually getting it, to look like it has a lot more detail in it than it does. Yeah, that with a color, with a base color map applied on the top, it will start to look more effective. Okay, and if you wanted to have a look at it in other sort of lighting conditions, you come down, have a look at the environment effects. We'll use a map, open it up, look for environment, HDR environment, and then I'm going to go to Evening Road. Yeah, and then we can start to once we render that, we go have a look at it in some a little better lighting conditions. The next thing to do after this is to start layering on other textures, let's say, as well as your normal map. Okay, so that's a very brief overview of smoothing groups, surface normals, and how to apply normal texture maps to objects in 3ds Max. I hope that helps. Thank you.